Crime, Wine, and Chaos contains adult language and graphic content. Listener discretion is advised.
Come on and take a free ride, Chaos Kids. I'm Amber.
Take it easy. I'm Naomi. And this is Crime, Wine, and Chaos. Amber just made me a promise, and I was like, I'm going to hold you to it. And she was like, uh-oh. And I was like, I'm your accountability buddy. And she was like, what? Did you just like have an oopsie? And I'm like, no.
I thought you malfunctioned.
Like, that's your thing, not mine.
You were the one that said yakety yak instead of /
What?
I'm like 3 episodes ago. You were trying to
3 episodes ago. Precisely. You messed up.
And 7 years ago. Well, it's usually me that can't get my words out, but you were directing people to the Patreon and you were trying to say either / or / and it was like yakety yak, no talk back. Like, yep, go there and see what happens.
Amber has never heard of an accountability buddy, you guys. You need to get on that train because accountability buddy is like, you know, that's how we make it.
I love that.
Together, you know?
Okay. And this is all to reduce the countdown from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, which we talk about every episode for approximately 4 months. Can you not make it so long? Like, oh yeah, I got to do it's a click. It's one click. And I'm like, I don't have time for that.
No one has time for that. No one has time for that.
Oh.
Hi, sister.
Hi, sister. Hi, sister.
What's going on?
It's particularly hot today.
Oh, are you learning the temperature variance in your new place now?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, we have AC. We have individual AC in every room. Mm-hmm. But I think that would be very loud.
Sure.
I just got back from my walkabout too.
Ooh. So you were out there in it.
Oh, yeah. I went out to the 3-dimensional people.
Did you put on sunscreen?
No. I was inside for so long that I guess I just didn't even... It's April, you know? It's April in Seattle. So I thought,
You thought what? That the sun couldn't hurt you?
That's right. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for it to be that hot. And now I'm uncomfy.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I literally had no idea what the weather was like until about 5 minutes ago when I sat down in this chair and looked out my bedroom window.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're indoor cats.
100%. Absolutely.
Oh.
Well, I think you have an announcement for the good of the order.
That's right. We've got a new Chaos Kids Club member, Renee
We
R.
do.
Renee R. Bringing it.
Awesome.
Renee went to Yakety Yak Don't Talk Back and she
join the club.
Said, yes, please. I'll do that.
Sign me up. So are you drinking something besides water today?
I am. Thank you for asking. I'm still working through the same bottle that I had last episode, which is the Buried Cane White.
Oh, wait, right. Buried cane. We're not really sure what that means, but
it's so good though.
But it tastes good.
That's
right. What matters.
And a nice cold white after my overly hot walkabout that I wasn't prepared for.
You were not ready for that.
I wasn't
That's how
ready.
Episodes of I Should Be Alive start, Amber.
I was in the city. If somebody just ignores a woman like heat stroking on the ground, I need to rethink my community. I was not in the outback. God.
I was not prepared. She was, in fact, not prepared.
That would be so embarrassing to be on an episode of I Survived when you just walk through a literal city and die and nobody like, what? What? The fuck?
I mean, I'm sure it happens.
Mm-hmm.
How about a crime for you, sister?
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about the murder of Beverly McGowan.
No, thank you.
Well, this is, you know what? You can say no thank you, and I'm going to tell it to you anyway.
Okay.
So in July of 1990, Beverly McGowan was 34 years old and working as a loan processor at Glendale Federal Bank in Pompano Beach, Florida.
Okay.
She was looking for a roommate to share her condo with and put an ad in the Sun Sentinel newspaper, like we did back then before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, Pomp SE, I believe that stands for Pompano Southeast, share 2 out of 2, so 2 bedroom, 2 bath, condo with female 34 plus 2 cats. This is the kicker. $290 plus half utilities.
Oh, that was dollars.
That was dollars.
Oh my God. That makes me want to vomit. $290 plus.
She was charging $290 for a room in her condo plus half the utilities.
You can't live in a car for $290.
No.
Also, have you ever done like a roommate ad, or would you ever? I think it's such a strange concept.
I don't know that I would never do that as a single woman. That seems dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I would ever respond to one. Although, I mean, we've both had roommate situations, but they weren't like strangers that we found in the newspaper.
No. Like,
yeah.
That, I mean, okay, good for her. Okay.
So after screening several applicants, Beverly gets a call from a woman named Alice. Alice had a British accent and told Beverly over the phone that she was moving to the States, transferring from the UK as an employee of IBM, coming to work at their Fort Lauderdale office.
Okay.
Their phone conversation was great. Alice told Beverly that she was super into numerology, and Beverly was like really excited. She was into all that new age stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Alice did a numerology reading for Beverly using numbers that she got from personal documents that Beverly gave her, namely her passport and her birth certificate. Even though Beverly was cautious, she willingly turned over this information to Alice.
Oh.
Alice told Beverly that the numbers said that Beverly was destined to find true love and accumulate great wealth. Alice told her that she would come into money, have no worries, and meet the man she would marry when she turned 40.
Okay.
She also told her that a man and a woman that Beverly was very close to would deceive and hurt her. Beverly was excited to tell her friends and her family that Alice was going to move in soon. I got the impression that Beverly was just really stoked to have a new girlfriend and someone she really liked, like as a roommate.
Yeah.
Like, I think she was just like, we really hit it off. This woman sounds cool. Like, we have things in common. Like, this is going to be fun.
Okay.
And she was clearly feeling really hopeful about this true love coming her way that the number said she would receive.
Mm-hmm.
So Alice moves in. And a couple of days later, on July 17th, Beverly disappeared.
Oh, no.
2 days later, on the 19th, several of her friends and family members got cryptic letters from her, postmarked from Miami. In each letter, she said she was quitting her job, selling her condo, and planning to travel. She even sent one to her boss and quit her job by letter.
Uh-huh.
According to these letters, Beverly was unhappy with her life and taking a trip to find herself, or whatever.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So Beverly's brother and sister, Steve and Jane, found it all very fucking sus.
Sure.
So they headed over to her apartment to see what they could see. To them, it looked like she wasn't planning to be gone permanently. Her car was gone. Her phone was disconnected, and she had not been seen at work for 2 days. But other than her car, the only things missing were her 2 cats, her address book, her birth certificate, and her passport.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow in here, I forgot to mention that later they would find out that she also sent a letter to her mortgage company claiming that she wanted to sell the condo and that they could dispatch of all her belongings.
But Alice is still just living there?
Alice is not there. No one is there.
Oh, okay.
That same day, the 19th, over 100 miles away in St. Lucie County, a fisherman on the banks of a canal thought someone had dumped a bag of rags.
Oh.
But when he got closer to take a look, what he found made him recoil and sent him running back to his family that were in the station wagon down the track. He had actually stumbled upon a body right there on the edge of the Florida Everglades. It was the body of a woman, fully clothed, but her head was partially hacked off and her hands were missing.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Her legs were crossed at her ankles. Her shirt had been pulled up and a section of skin just above the waistline had been cut out. Clearly, whoever dumped this woman's body wanted to make sure she was never identified.
Mm-hmm.
Police were called to the scene and it was processed. Further investigation found that the woman had died from her throat being cut. It also appeared that the decapitation and the removal of the hands was done with a chainsaw.
Oh my God. Oh, God.
The decapitation, however, was not fully complete and her bottom jaw was still there. That, along with the tattoo on her ankle that the killer didn't remove, allowed her to be identified as Beverly McGowan.
Mm-hmm.
There was like these flowers, like this little flowers on her ankle that were just above like the hemline of the bottom of her jeans.
Yeah.
The spot of skin that was missing on her stomach was like a Disney character of some kind that she had as a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
So they had removed the tattoo, but they didn't remove all her tattoos.
Right. Oh my God.
So as police investigated Beverly's murder, they were confused to discover that the letters that were sent to Beverly's friends and family appeared to be written by her. It was her handwriting in those letters. And it didn't seem, they said, like she had written them under duress. Although I don't know how they could possibly know that.
What does under duress handwriting look like?
Exactly.
Just shaky? I mean,
Look, handwriting analysis for me is like right up there with polygraphs.
yeah, magical cans. Yeah,
Yes.
it's junk. It's junk science. But under duress, I don't know what that means.
I mean, here's what I know. I have like at least 3 different handwriting styles personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe 4.
I've got a couple that look like under duress.
Right?
Because it's
and I
like
have
whatever.
some that like you wouldn't be able to even pick it out of a fucking lineup. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Sometimes I do just print. Sometimes I do cursive,
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes my cursive has Duval.
Oh, all of my cursive has Duval for us unfortunate children that were taught
Have
that.
we talked about Duval on the
Yes.
show before?
Yes.
Nobody knows, Amber.
Print with tails everywhere.
Nobody fucking knows about Duval except
Yeah.
for like a few hundred of us.
I know. That and Prano pumps. Well, apparently was
Pumps?
Prano. No. Vanderpump. Prano pump rules. Apparently we are just this handful of weird kids that got both of those things. Thanks. Thanks, Washington. Mm-hmm.
Specifically Western Washington, north of the city.
Yeah.
So anyway, police want to speak to Alice, of course, thinking she may have very well been the last person to see Beverly before she went missing and then showed up murdered.
Right.
But no one knew who Alice was. They didn't have a last name. She wasn't in the condo, obviously. And when police contacted IBM, they found out that not only did they not have anyone from the UK working for them, but they didn't even have an office in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh my God. And and Beverly owned the condo, so it's not like there's a leasing office where she would have had to be put on a lease with like no information at all.
Nope, exactly.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's 1990, right? Like so much is still not digitized either, right? This was back when people literally could go like leave their life and start over somewhere else and like, you know, get their paper driver's license and no one was any the wiser.
Yeah. The good old days. Yeah. Mhm. Still my favorite decade.
I know. I love the 90s. Police kept digging and discovered that around the same time as Beverly's disappearance, $795 of the $800 in her bank accounts was withdrawn. An attractive blonde woman with a British accent used Beverly's credit card to buy books and clothes at Aventura Mall. This had to be Alice.
Right.
And now Alice was the prime suspect in this murder. And then another possible suspect arrived on the scene, or an accomplice maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A man going by the name Sam, apparently dressed as a woman, wearing a black Cleopatra wig.
Well, that's super discreet, Sam.
Right? On July 20th, the day after they found Beverly, he used her credit card to reserve a rental car at Heathrow International Airport. He told the travel agent that he was flying there on British Airways Flight 292, departing Sunday, July 22nd at 6:30 p.m., 2 days from the time of booking the car.
Okay.
Police searched the passenger list for the flight and other similar ones, but Beverly's name did not appear on them. It is believed that either Alice or Sam was on that flight. On Monday, July 23rd, a person matching Sam's description and using Beverly's name picked up a car at Heathrow Airport. On July 25th, Beverly's car was found at a motel near Miami International Airport. It had been there for 5 days. In it, investigators found Cleopatra wig hairs.
Oh, God. Ew.
Like, I'm thinking of like the classic, like, what's her name? That famous actress. She played Cleopatra in like the 60s or whatever. You remember?
I don't know.
More famously in the 80s and the 90s, she sold like a perfume, White Shoulders, I think. White
Are
Shoulders.
you talking about Elizabeth Taylor?
Thank you, Elizabeth Taylor. Yes.
Yeah.
With the like the
Straight
bangs
across
and the
bangs.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In December 1996, so this was like 6 years later, after rechecking the British Airways Flight 292 passenger list, authorities discovered that Alice, quote unquote, had used the name Sylvia Ann Hodgkinson to purchase her tickets. In October, a Hodgkinson flew from London to Los Angeles. She rented a car under the name Charlotte Cowan. Through these names, authorities were able to identify her, the real her, as a con artist named Elaine Parent.
Huh. Okay.
And this is how they were able to connect Parent to Beverly's apartment. Dim traces of handwriting left on a notepad at Beverly's place was determined to actually be Parent's. They also tracked down the real Charlotte Cowan.
Okay.
Living on the west coast of Florida, Charlotte told authorities and the press that she met Elaine Parent in 1986 at a bar called Faces in Orlando. Parent impressed Charlotte with her fine clothes, British accent, and charisma. Parent had straight, short, red hair similar to Charlotte's. They began chatting. Before long, Parent asked Charlotte about her birthday and said she was into numerology and wanted to profile Charlotte. Charlotte had never heard of numerology, but she agreed to hand over her driver's license number, her birth date, and her time of birth.
Oh, God.
Parent wrote it on a cocktail napkin and told Charlotte she had a rosy future ahead for her. Charlotte said, quote, I had never had that approach before, and that Parent divulged, quote, not too damn much about herself. Quote, she said she'd been involved with a woman before who hurt her bad. A few days later, Parent visited Charlotte and Charlotte's mother for lunch. Charlotte said, even my mother thought she was a sophisticated person. My mom is no fool.
Damn.
Charlotte didn't hear from Parent until sometime later when she got a phone call. Parent told Charlotte that her aunt had died and she and her brother were supposed to split the inheritance, but she said her brother committed her to a hospital to keep her from the money.
What?
About a month later, Parent showed up at Charlotte's house at 3 a.m. wearing a paste-on mustache.
No, stop it.
Parent said she used the disguise so she could escape from the hospital.
Also, like, this is one of my biggest fears is like, you just meet another woman and you think that maybe this could be like a budding friendship. And like right out the gate, it's getting weird. Right, you're like immediately this person's emergency contact. It's like single white female.
Yes.
You know, it's like you're at my house at 3 a.m. in a fake mustache. Like, I just wanted someone to have cocktails with. This is fucking weird.
So Parent cries and begs Charlotte for her birth certificate so she could use it to get identification to hide from her brother.
No.
And Charlotte eventually caved in and gave it to her. A few weeks later, Parent mailed Charlotte back her birth certificate along with an apology for taking so long.
Okay.
Charlotte never heard from her again. She said, quote, to be quite honest, I have never forgotten this woman. There is something about her. She's definitely a good-looking woman. In an attempt to snag Parent for questioning, the State Department filed passport fraud charges against her, but Parent hadn't been seen since she was arrested in North Miami in 1991. In May of that year, a woman named Elaine Parent was stopped by police in North Miami for driving an overdue rental car with a stolen plate. Police were suspicious because she carried identification for both Cowan and Hodgkinson, but they released her anyway.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Charlotte said, quote, "If she finds the right person, she'll get whatever she wants."
Mm-hmm.
In the 6 years it took to link Parent to the case, investigators traveled to England and Scotland Yard. They consulted with the U.S. State Department, the FBI, and even resorted to asking NBC TV's Unsolved Mysteries to run a segment about the case.
Ooh, did they run it?
Oh, yeah, that's where I first heard the story.
Oh, okay. I figured for sure you watched like Worst Roommate Ever.
Mm-mm.
Oh, for this one. Okay.
This is straight from the archives of Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. And who the fuck is Elaine Parent?
Mm-hmm.
She was born in 1942, the only child of an American father and a French-Canadian mother. She grew up in the Bronx in New York. That's about all that's known about her background. And even the name Elaine Parent isn't entirely confirmed to be her real name, as her birth certificate has never been confirmed.
Whoa.
By her 30th birthday, Parent was in Florida. She worked as a real estate agent for a time before realizing that crime was more lucrative than any conventional profession.
Mm-hmm.
Her first reported run-in with the law was a shoplifting charge in Florida when she was in her early 30s. Then, in 1985, she allegedly stole $40,000 in jewelry from an older woman that she'd befriended.
Mm-hmm.
And she spent the rest of her life on the run.
Jeez.
She reportedly faked her own death twice and stalked bars, homeless shelters, and graveyards looking for identities to steal. In the mid to late 90s, she spent 5 years on the run in Britain. It was here during this time that she perfected a refined English accent, went into hiding with a former girlfriend, a businesswoman, and enjoyed baiting detectives back in Florida.
God.
Her ex-girlfriend was a senior executive at a blue-chip company. Although detectives would not discover this for another 5 years, the couple had lived together for several years until Parent's mood swings and demands for money split them up. Parent had even tried to blackmail her girlfriend. Then Parent managed to persuade her ex-girlfriend to take her in again. As the police searched in vain, Parent was living comfortably in a nice house in southwest London. When the relationship turned sour once more, Parent's actions became more extraordinary. She kidnapped her ex-girlfriend's dogs, took them to America, and tried to hold them ransom.
Oh.
She also sent the woman death threats.
God.
It was after this she was arrested in Miami Beach in possession of documents that showed her to have 3 separate identities. Remarkably, police failed to run her name through the computer, which is why she was released on bail. More investigating showed that she next surfaced in New Mexico, running a restaurant. A year later, she was back in Florida, claiming to be South African and apparently penniless. In 1992, even as the Florida police were looking for her in connection with Beverly's murder, Parent, under another identity, filed a civil negligence suit against the state after she slipped and injured herself in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
She won, but the police will not confirm how much she was awarded in damages in that case. In 1994, she disappeared from view altogether.
Wow.
Police refused to reveal the identity of her ex-girlfriend, saying that this woman's life was in danger because she was providing vital evidence to the investigation. She's referred to as Witness X, and she helped fill in some of the blank periods in Parent's life. She says Parent is extremely bright and clever and loves animals, but can't work around them because of an allergy. She also has a passionate interest in environmental issues.
Okay. Okay.
It emerged that when Parent went on the run in 1985, she fled to England and found a job with a telecommunications company in East London. That's when her relationship with Witness X began. And although she wasted no time in collecting new identities without her girlfriend's knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Around this time, she is thought to have befriended 39-year-old Sylvia Ann Hodgkinson. Little is known about her, except that she was born in Lewisham in South London, was the daughter of a truck driver, and she married a dairy worker who died in 1985. Just under a year later, Parent applied for a passport in Hodgkinson's name and for the next 5 years assumed her identity. It was Hodgkinson's passport the Parent used to escape from Miami after Beverly McGowan was murdered.
Okay.
Public appeals failed to find Hodgkinson, and detectives feared she could have become another of Parent's victims. While she continued to collect new identities, Parent's relationship with Witness X blossomed, only coming to an end when Parent returned from Florida in 1991 after Beverly's murder. When the pair split, Parent sent her girlfriend a note written with letters cut from a newspaper threatening to kill her.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Soon afterwards, Parent took out a series of ads in the Lonely Hearts column of London magazine Time Out. She described herself as a gourmet cook who loved fine wine and claimed to be the proud owner of a fine collection of copper cookware.
What? Oh my God.
Relatively little is known about the real Elaine Antoinette Parent. Those who knew her and in some cases lived with her describe her variously as beautiful, intelligent, charming, and bisexual, but also speak of her flip side, aggressive, prone to violent mood swings, and threatening.
And murderous.
Apparently.
Yeah.
She was just kind of all over the place. Some of her known 20 identities were stolen from women she met and seduced, but did not kill. Some were entirely invented, and some cannot be traced by detectives at all. Authorities fear that some of these women could have met the same fate as Beverly.
Yeah.
We know this. She was cocky as shit and certain she would never be caught. We know this because in 1998, she sent detectives in Florida a photograph of an oil painting of herself. And on the back of the picture, she wrote, "Best wishes, your chameleon."
Stop it. Okay, BTK. God.
So some started calling her the chameleon killer, while the press dubbed her world's most wanted woman after she had reportedly been seen in many places in the world besides the US and the UK, including Turkey, Paris, South Africa, and Australia. Finally, in April 2002, an anonymous tip came in from a viewer of America's Most Wanted, who also ran a story about her.
Okay.
They claimed that Parent was living under another assumed name, Darlene Thompson, in an apartment building in Panama City, Florida. She must really like Florida.
She loves Florida.
She keeps going back to Florida.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Some people are just all about Florida.
Florida. You know? I do know, yeah. Wow.
When they knocked on her door, she let them in and then asked them to give her a minute while she went to her room to change her clothes. And when she went to her room, she shot herself in the chest with a .357 Magnum and died.
No. Did they confirm that it was her?
Yes.
Okay.
According to a 2024 article in The Sun, former Panama City police officer Michael McLeod recalled, quote, "I went in first. I remember seeing gun smoke in the room. They didn't tell us she was known as the chameleon. If the police had known how dangerous she was, they wouldn't have allowed her to get changed alone."
Mm-hmm.
12 years after Beverly's murder, the only person who likely had any answers was dead. It's assumed that the Sam person was actually just Parent in disguise and that she acted alone in Beverly's murder.
Okay.
But they will never know why Beverly was murdered, if Beverly was Parent's only murder victim, nor will we ever have the full details of the life and crimes of Elaine Parent.
Oh my God. Damn it.
And that's the murder of Beverly McGowan.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one, sister.
Thank you.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I have chills.
Nice.
No. I mean, yeah. Ugh. So she was Cleopatra too, presumably.
Presumably, yeah. Yeah. I mean, because think about it. She showed up at that one chick's house with the mustache on.
Oh my God. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So she was like pretending to be a man, pretending to be a woman.
Right.
That tracks.
That fully tracks. A mustache
Fully tracks.
as her disguise. Wow. Oh.
But yeah, like, you got to think about it like this. Like, the way that shit went down with Beverly, okay? Like, first of all, why did she feel like she had to murder her?
I know.
Second of all, the way she was murdered and the way that her body was hacked up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, do we really think she's never done that before?
No. You don't go straight into dismembering like that.
Right?
Mm-mm. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
So there probably are other victims.
Probably.
She's probably at least one other. I mean, she could possibly have been a serial killer.
For sure. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's always crazy
pretty,
when it's a woman.
When it's a woman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially other women.
I know. God. Poor Beverly.
I know. I was just thinking that. Like Beverly, she was just like wanted to have a friend and a fun roommate.
God. Mm.
Like get into some new age woo-woo with somebody.
That's tricky though, pretending to be into numerology and like, oh yeah, just give me your birthday and your, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just met you. Here's my birth certificate and my driver's license number.
I know. I mean, I know I don't want to victim shame, but like, what are we
100%.
doing?
100%. I know. But that's the thing about those real charmers. It wasn't like, hi, my name's Alice. Can I have your birth certificate numbers? I mean, you know what I mean? Like she clearly had the
Oh yeah. They were
gift.
like mesmerized by her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you see pictures of her, it's like, oh yeah, she's a good looking woman. And like attractive people get away with more shit.
I know. It's exhausting. Right?
I feel for you, sis. I feel for you.
I mean, us, like, God, going through life, like, here's your past. It's like, okay, I just want to be like everyone else.
Pretty privilege is a real thing.
It is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And, people don't assume that like a beautiful woman who's all charming and nice is like a killer.
No.
No one will ever suspect that.
I think most people naturally sort of relax when the person they're talking to is a woman, that they're not in any danger,
Right. I mean, what do they say to kids? If you're in trouble, don't yell for the police, yell mom.
Exactly.
Like,
Mhm.
right?
I feel like that still holds true.
It totally holds true.
The reason why these cases are so weird is because it's such an anomaly.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
God, honeybee.
All right. Well, sister, what do you got for us for chaos this week?
Okay. Well, first off, I've got to give props to my friend Celeste who told me about this. She's the same friend that told me about the shags. So,
Oh, Celeste, this better be good because the shags are hard to top. Okay.
I mean, we're not trying to outdo the shags. They're in their special place where they will remain.
I mean, the shags are so special that they are on the short list for merch at this point.
That's
Okay.
right.
Shags manager as a pin is still at the top of my list for merch. Hey, you guys, do you want us to do merch? If we do merch, will you buy it?
More than
Tell
one
us.
person has asked for merch, and we just keep kicking that can down the road.
We're going to do something about it. I swear to God. Swear to God, you guys. Just like we said we were going to do bonus episodes in a Patreon. We did. We got there eventually.
We got there. Yeah. The little podcast that could. Okay. Well, Celeste made me aware of that one time when L. Ron Hubbard and Edgar Winters made an album.
Stop it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Is this like when Garth Brooks had an alter ego?
It's up there. Yeah, it's up there. Uh-huh. So we'll start with Edgar Winter. I think it's
Okay.
Winter, not Winters.
Okay.
You know when a person's name is like plural, but you want the plural to you want it to be that? Like it should just be Winters.
You've decided it's Winters.
I'm going to call him Edgar Winters. He's actually quite the musician.
Okay.
He plays keyboards, saxophone, drums. He's also a vocalist. He's not great on the vocals, but we don't need to get picky about it.
It's that Kid Rock vibe.
For sure. Mhm. He was born with albinism,
Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
which left him legally blind.
Uh-huh.
His brother is Johnny Winter, also born with albinism. He was a blues legend, and Edgar started his musical career playing with Johnny. But he eventually decided to go out on his own in the music biz. And in the 70s, he had a couple of massive hits, including
Okay.
Free Ride.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Take it easy. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Got it. Okay.
But he wasn't tied to like any one genre. He was kind of all over the map. He would just dabble in anything that was music,
Like Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't front and center for very long. He was like a behind the scenes. He did a lot of session work. He's
Mhm.
one of those where he's like on everybody's album, but you wouldn't know it.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you know what? You can make a decent living doing session work. It's like being a backup singer. Like
For
you just
sure.
You're just always being booked. You're just always in the studio.
I don't even know what that would feel like to just always be booked. Like I can't even get a gig, you know?
Let alone many gigs to constitute a whole gun rack.
That's right. That's right. Oh gosh. Okay. So yeah, he was a behind the scenes kind of guy. He kind of disappeared in the 80s with like no real explanation as to why. So during the time in the 80s, Edgar joined the Church of Scientology.
Oh, Edgar. That was back before people really knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this was pre-internet. You know, the internet has taught us a lot of things. You can say a lot of bad things about the internet, but there's a lot of good things that came out of the internet. And one of them is people get the information that they weren't getting before, you know, like the
information highway.
It's exactly right. That's exactly right. Dude, I remember when a friend of mine was like years ago, this was 20 plus years ago, was like held up a copy of Dianetics and was like, this book is really interesting. You should read it. And I was like, whoa. I don't know where this friendship is going now.
You had the wherewithal 20 years ago.
Over 20 years ago.
Good for you.
I knew because Sebastian's dad had lived in LA for a while, and he had lived in Hollywood right next to the Hollywood Center, like the celebrity center for Scientology. And he had gone in and done like a, you know, those where they pull people in off the street. They're like, come do an assessment. Yes, a personality test. And he was like, those people are fucking wacky, dude. Watch out.
Oh, God. Well, the fact that he disappeared from music and then got into Scientology at the same time, like maybe he was going through some shit, you know?
Sure. Because that's how you end up in a cult, right? Is you're going through some shit and then they find you at the exact right time and they're like, we have answers to the shit you're going through.
Come hold our magical cans and we'll tell you what you need to do.
That's right.
So he joins. L. Ron was still alive at this time, but he had already like gone into isolation and was focusing on his writing.
And that was also when he was partly in isolation because he was sick.
Yes.
And hiding. He was hiding from everybody that he was sick.
Right. Because he was supposed to live forever. And
forever.
People know
and never be sick because he had removed all the thetans.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh my God. What a fucking douche. And so it was during this time that he released the sci-fi book Battlefield Earth, which actually was on the bestseller list. Which
is also technically sacred writing for the Church of Scientology.
Stop it. Stop it.
Famously made into the like one of the biggest Hollywood bombs starring John Travolta.
Of course. Oh, God.
In like the early 2000s, I think.
Well, that's not the only bomb that was based off of L. Ron's books. So let me tell you.
Oh, I'm so excited. I had no idea we were going to have such a good time today. You know what, Celeste? You're still on the list. Thank you.
She's funny. Okay, so, and then it was after Battlefield Earth that he wrote the 10-book series Mission Earth.
Okay.
It was published across a 2-year span from 1985 to 1987, and it was also on the bestseller list.
10 books in 2 years?
Yeah.
Were they full books or were they like novellas?
I love your made-up language. No,
novella is not a made-up language. Oh my God, sister, that's an actual thing. A novella is like more than a short story, but less than a full novel. Sister,
really?
Just because you don't know a word doesn't mean I made it up.
It's as far as I'm concerned. If I'm hearing it for the first time out of your mouth, you invented it.
You guys, I invented like a bunch of the English language now.
What did you say at the beginning?
Accountability buddy. What's that?
Did you make that up too?
No.
I don't live under a rock. Like, I swear.
You do spend less time on the internet than the average bear.
That's true. That's true.
But novella is not an internet word. That is a legitimate, like Webster's dictionary word that has existed for a longer than we've been alive.
Okay,
probably
fine.
as long as
Maybe some of you have heard it first here, folks. Novella is a word. I didn't look at, they looked like regular books. Novels without the So I don't know. You guys had nothing else.
But that is a lot. That is a lot of books in 2 years.
It is. It is. Yep.
That is a lot of schlocky fucking writing. He's just like shitting that out his ass. You know what I'm saying? Straight diarrhea.
No, Dianetic. Oh my God.
Oh, we're going to end up on the list, you know. Scientology is going to come for us.
That's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it goes on the bestseller list. He died before all the books in the series were released. But L. Ron had a wish that Mission Earth would not only be a book, but it would be an album.
Like a concept album, like Pink Floyd, The Wall, where it was just like a story, but in song that took up a whole entire album. Like a concept album.
That's a great album, though.
It is a great album. I'm not talking about the quality. I'm just talking about the concept.
Don't ask me what L. Ron thought was. Don't ask me about his thoughts. I don't fucking know. God.
Sister, I want to know what you think was going on in the mind of L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna do my best.
Okay.
So before he died or ascended to a different whatever he did.
Right.
So it's 1985. He contacts Edgar Winter about making an album based on his book series. They never met in person. They spoke on the phone, and L. Ron would also record his ideas for lyrics and melodies on cassette tapes and mail them to Edgar to review. I wish I could hear those.
Oh my God. They have to still exist, right?
I hope so.
Someone has them.
I bet Edgar has them.
Maybe they're in that underground mountain location where they keep the golden records.
Oh, yeah. Underground mountain location.
Right?
You know so much random stuff. What is that?
I used to listen to Leah's podcast.
There's an underground mountain location?
Yeah, it's like in, I think, Northern California or something. They have like one of their properties.
Yes.
Yeah, one of their properties. And they like have etched all this information onto like literal gold like albums because they'll never corrode.
Uh-huh.
And they like, that's just like their permanent storage of information location.
Okay. Wow. Okay, well, yeah, maybe they exist there. So he did, in fact, make an entire album based off of this science fiction series. It wasn't completed until after L. Ron's death. The record was on the shelves next to all the rock and roll chart toppers of the time. I guess.
No.
Yeah. And the label estimated that it would sell close to 800,000 copies, which, for context, in the 80s, that was like just approaching platinum status.
That was like Madonna and Michael Jackson levels.
Yes. Uh-huh. That's what L. Ron thought was going to happen.
Oh, okay. But did they make it happen? Scientology just bought all the albums, right?
No.
With their massive coffers.
Well, Naomi, L. Ron already had a few albums under his belt, including
Stop it.
the Dianetic music soundtrack of Battlefield Earth and The Road to Freedom.
I can't.
So we're coming in with experience.
Okay.
So let's just be respectful.
Right. Okay.
L. Ron considered himself to be a pioneer in music and said that he was the first person ever to compose a literary soundtrack, which I didn't fact check that. I'm sure he wasn't.
I'm positive that's not true. Positive.
He once produced an album that consisted of a jazz ensemble, and these were dudes like living on his ship at the time.
Right. But like without passports because their passports had been confiscated by L. Ron personally.
Yeah. But these folks said that L. Ron had no clue what he was doing, and the album ended up sounding like it was recorded in a tin can.
Well, I mean, it was recorded on the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
One of the albums that he created for Battleship Earth was titled Space Jazz. But I don't know what he meant by that because there's no jazz on the album.
But that's because it's for space, Amber. It's a different kind of jazz.
Oh, they do jazz different in space.
That's exactly right.
Also,
You don't know.
I'm not a fan of jazz, but jazz is really, really hard. And you don't go from not a musician to straight to jazz.
Right.
God.
I'm not a fan of jazz either, but exactly.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's like I wrote an opera.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Let's start with the nursery rhyme and we'll build up from there. Okay? God.
Let me introduce you to some introductory musician work.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of the Shags?
Let me give you the number for the shag manager. We can partner up with you on this.
Maybe he can get you a residency.
Do you know the hit single My Pal Foot Foot?
Oh my God.
A residency at like that barn or whatever in New Hampshire. Oh my God. Oh God. Okay. So, I mean, at least to Elrond's credit, he called upon a professional musician to make his book album.
Mm-hmm.
Edgar said that this was the first project in a long time that he really was excited about.
Oh, Edgar.
Mm-hmm. On this album, we also have trumpet player Ron Miscavige.
Is that David's dad?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Who later went on to leave the church and speak out against it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
The first song on this album is the title track called Mission Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Some notable lyrics. To Mission Earth, I was assigned a planet that was seizure inclined, with intrigue, sex, and foggy pot.
What?
That's what I said. What? Uh-huh.
Okay.
So the album has descriptions on the back of each song. And this is supposed to be completely based off of like Elrond's novel series, like his sci-fi stuff that's not about Scientology, right? Like he was always very clear that like his science fiction books were not Scientology books.
Right.
But the second track on the album is called Treacherous Love, which is a female villain in the book who basically went down the wrong path and turned to sex work after her involvement in psychiatry and psychology.
Because you know that there's like nothing worse that you can be than a psychologist,
I know.
according to Scientology.
Right. But these books are not Scientology. These are just
100%. They're
super
just
fun.
science fiction. Yep, it's just a fun romp in space.
But you're the villain if you turn to psychiatry and psychology.
That's right.
Mm.
And you're doomed to sex work.
Mm.
The worst thing ever besides psychology.
Right. Mm-hmm. And apparently most of the book series is about the demise of mankind due to psychiatry and psychology.
Has nothing to do with Scientology.
No. No. And this nonsense is turning people into homosexuals and necrophiliacs.
Absolutely. I can't even talk about the things I did after I saw the psychiatrist I saw last.
Here's a couple
Unspeakable.
unspeakable. Well, maybe you need this album, Naomi.
I
Maybe
might.
it will help you reflect.
I might need that.
Here's a couple.
Here I come, YouTube.
Here's a couple. Oh God, you must. I only was able to listen to a few seconds of each song, and then I was like, my ears can't handle this.
Worse than the Shags?
There was something endearing about the Shags.
There's
was
nothing endearing here.
That was missing here. Here's some lyrics from Treacherous Love. My friends told me you were deadly. I did not believe them. Then led us into temptation with the lure of sweet sensation. He's being lured into loving this sex worker who is evil because of her
psychology past.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then there's a song called Cry Out, which is an environmental message. It's got like a pretty catchy beat. Here's some lyrics. Once it was a very nice planet. Don't play with toxic waste. It's time to save the world. And this one has a music video. I'm not kidding.
This is the kind of thing that like they make you watch in school when you're learning about
exactly what it was. It was
like Captain Planet or
Edgar
something.
Winters holding hands with a child, and they're like picking up garbage, and then some friendly person at the market tosses them a fresh apple to eat. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
I had the tingles. I had third party embarrassment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm. Then we go to the track Just a Kid, and it sounds like the opening to like an 80s cartoon or like a video game.
Okay.
And in this one, the song is called, this other one, the song is called Joy City, and it's Elrond's Utopia in the book.
Uh-huh.
And the lyrics are, what fun. Oh my, Joy City. Let's do this every day. And it's like people clog dancing and playing ping pong. That's where you go if you are a Scientologist and you don't fuck with psychology. You get to do clog dancing and ping pong.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the artwork, the cover art for the album is a blonde guy resembling Edgar Winter. And he's just like a head floating in the clouds. And behind him is like an iron fist that appears to be holding the earth. And I think it's the same, like the iron fist holding the earth is what the book cover is.
Oh.
So they just slapped Edgar Winters in there, and it kind of looks like the melon head from Ghostbusters 2 in the painting.
Look, Amber, cover art is hard.
Preach. I know. Oh my God. So there's this, I want to make sure I'm correct. I believe it's called Roach Records. Does that sound right? It's a record label that basically is like, if nobody else will sign you, we'll help you.
Okay.
That's where the album ended up because nobody wanted to take this album. And it ended up being a fucking disaster. Even though Edgar was really proud and referred to it as, return to rock's primal roots.
Oh, Edgar.
It fucking tanked.
Sure.
Nothing was put on the radio, and the final sales were about 15,000 copies.
Those were all Scientologists.
Yeah. Oh, but Elrond predicted 800,000 copies.
Right. That at the time in the 80s, at the time, that was probably everyone in Scientology. They were probably forced to go buy that album.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the entirety of the whole of the congregation or membership of Scientology went off and dutifully bought their copy of this album.
You've got to go listen to this shit. It's amazing. You can listen to all of it on YouTube and see the environmental video.
Oh my God.
So before it was released, before Edgar knew that it was going to tank, he was planning on going on tour for this album and hopefully turning it into a Broadway musical.
Sure.
But
it's absolutely a Broadway musical just waiting to happen.
With clog dancing?
Yes, and a ping pong table. I'm sorry, table tennis.
What? Are we word policing with ping pong now?
If people who play professionally call it table tennis.
Oh. Well, it just looked like people having fun. I don't know if they were. That's the fucking Scientology album of L. Ron Hubbard's books, Mission Earth.
Oh my
Buy
God.
your copy today.
Oh, sister, that was
so bad. It's so
information bad. I didn't know I needed.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We're all a little bit something or something now. Mm-hmm.
We're all a little jazzy now. Because apparently you could use that word to describe anything.
Just call it jazz.
God.
No one really knows what jazz is anyway.
No. Oh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sister. We totally did it. You guys know what to do. Go join the club. It's $5 a month. Patreon.com. Yakety yak. Slash that back. Crime, wine, and chaos.
That was so jazzy. That was pretty pretty good. You even stayed like in beat. Slash that back. Good for you. That was awesome. That's so dumb. Yeah, be like Renee. Get in here.
Get in here. Join the club. You get a free episode every month. We do a bonus. We have new episodes every week. Drop a day early. We do virtual wine nights sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, write us a review on if you're listening on an Apple product, you can write us a review.
And do a little typey.
Do a typey, or wherever you're listening to us, review us. That would be great. And
would we say that we want a novella of a?
No, don't write a novella. I have a feeling the characters are limited, but
I see.
It's not like Amazon Prime or Amazon where you could just like write an actual novella as a review. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit, sister. I love you so much. That was so chaotic.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Joshua M. Davis. Music by Jeremy Williams. If you would like to support the show, you can visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/crime, wine, and chaos. Cheers.
Oh my God. Excuse me.